Welcome to the British Esports Student Championships 2023-2024. I am Wax and joined by Daniel, bringing you all of the Valorant action for the first time this year on the mainstream. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you, Axon.
It's week 4 already, but the first time we are live on the mainstream for British Esports this season. And we've got two teams with a bit of pedigree, wouldn't you say so, Daniel?
Yeah, definitely. With having CCP getting to the finals of Div 1 last year, and I believe winning them as well. We're going to be seeing a whole bunch of strategy, but they've had to add 3 new players, unfortunately. So they are only keeping 2 of those winning roster. But maybe that should be enough for them to get the win today.
Yeah, I mean, keeping the IGL and Mesa themselves on a strong duelist player is going to prove a strong composition for the side of Lighthouse. But on the opponent side, we've got the Belfast Met Buffalo, who have been having a pretty strong season, I would say, thus far.
Yeah, definitely. They had 2 13-1s, one in the first week and one last week, with a little bit of a challenge in week 2, only being able to still get that win though 13-10. So this game probably will be a clash of the Titans, having the winners of last year's regional and a team that currently is showing a severe dominance this year already.
Yeah, especially when we are looking at the veto, because Daniel, we're not necessarily complain, but we often see that we get to go to those ascent and those binds. But let's see if those two teams will going to be going for a balanced map, as we have split taken out. You don't want to play split in a best of 1. Ascent, Haven, bind is out, breeze is out, and then the last two. Daniel, we had to choose between Sunset and Lotus, and Lotus it is.
Yeah, we get to like you say, we get to see a map that isn't Ascent for once. This 3-site map, one of the newest 3-site map that they've added, and so it really is going to stretch the defenders, having to spread so thin, potentially having to have a weakness in their comp just to be strong on a site elsewhere. But I can't wait to see these teams play on this map, and depending on how strong their attack side is going to be, because that is what's going to define this map for them.
This is definitely untested territory for student champs, especially so early in the season, as we will be heading to Lotus. But the fact that the last 3 maps in the pool were Breeze, Sunset, and Lotus itself, it tells me that both of these teams have deep map pools and they know what they're doing, because you don't often see teams at this level get to the decider Lotus, Sunset, or Breeze. As we said, maybe going for things that are more comfortable, that everybody is familiar with. So speaking of Lotus, and you mentioned obviously it's a free site map, what is your go-to comp for Lotus, Daniel?
I think after the Cypher buffs, he's probably going to be the best Sentinel on this map, purely because you can place your util down on defense at least and go somewhere else. You're not restricted like Killjoy or Chamber with that Sentinel utility. However, the Chamber is and always has been really useful on this map, purely because of how much value he can get just holding down an extremity, holding down an angle, getting information passively that way. So probably going to see a Chamber, might see a Cypher, and then from there, probably almost definitely Raise, maybe a Breach, maybe a Gecko if teams are feeling spicy.
Wow, I am so curious to see what it's going to be, but we don't have to be that much more curious, because we are already starting to get into Agent Select, and we have Mesa on the sky with KT191, the newer addition to the CCP Lighthouse roster, hovering the Reyna. So we might be looking at the double duelist composition, which is something that you told me before we went live, Daniel. That's something that you definitely expect from Plymouth.
Yeah, from the notes that I have, at least, they've mentioned how they are a double duelist comp. They highly pride themselves on their frag ability, on their amazing maneuvers around the map to be able to just go in, get a pick, get out, and then re-pivot from there. But they are going to be starting on the defense with this double duelist complex, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out, because with the double duelist comp, you're sacrificing a second initiator. So you're gonna have to take space somewhere else, or like be able to fortify an area. And I probably will be expecting them to take that a rubble space, being able to throw that sky flash and that paint shell straight through to be able to stop the attackers from coming out right off the get go, and then they can just take all of that rubble space, and Utah will have to be traded for the attackers to be able to try and take it back.
And you did mention Sentinels, and you maybe preferred the Cypher or the Chamber, but I personally love Killjoy on this map for both sides, attackers or defenders, including that lockdown being such a strong piece of utility, allowing teams to either take control over a side or retake. But on the Belfast side, Daniel, it's only going to be a single duelist, and it will be the Neon paired with a Breach. And I really love seeing the Breach Fade combination paired with Neon. I think more than a Sky alongside Arena. Yes, there is a raise for Koopa Troopa, also one of the troopers of the Lighthouse that made the grand finals and played it all the way last year. But we are now 10 seconds away from this first pistol round, and we see already the Belfast Met Buffaloes outside of C.
Yeah, they're going for this heavy C presence, but it's being met by by CPC. They are just having the Reyna and the Killjoy here. So typically you have just the Killjoy or mainly your Sentinel on the C site, so that you can take space elsewhere on the map. But having the Omen on B, they hear the immediately throw that dark cover to just block off the choke and potentially slow down a push. So the door gets opened in an attempt to create some misinformation, but no one has gone through it.
Scott will be waiting here. Is Katie going to be patient enough? You know, you're playing Reyna. Oh, will Sugar Peak will not get tagged. Will stay alive. They only need to stay alive. But Scott already for the turret. Will Scott know? They know there's two opponents here, and they're not going to do. But Katie trying to get them more than routine. But MP4 with a Sheriff on the Killjoy, and now they will reset. And I predicted this, Daniel. I don't know if I said it on stream. Was talking to our observer and producer. We're in for a long one, Daniel, and pistol round, we already starting to see it.
Yeah, like as we can see, they're just rotating through spawn here, Belfast, because they know that they got that first pick, which is always advantage toward the attackers. So they've just grouped up together as 5. Yeah, there's been a little bit of chunk damage happening
30 seconds
on
left.
some of the players, but now they've just ran it all the way down into A. It's going to be all left up to Koopa Troopa here. Unfortunately, can't get the kill, but does do a little bit of damage towards Scott. Scott with this aggressive position, right as the spike going down, trying to come into this silent drop. Whiffs a few shots, but that doesn't matter as he gets the kill onto Mesa.
Beautiful aim correction right there from Scott. Mesa will be taken out, and now it's going to be Snow and Valencia. The new additions to the CCP Lighthouse roster. Can they pull this 2v5 off?
Standing.
Snow 1 HP, but MP4 gets another Sheriff kill, and it's 1v5. Snow gets flanked, a bit more tags, Aftershock coming in. Can Snow stay alive? Yes, they can. Snow coming in, but they're getting pushed from behind. And MP4 will secure the pistol round with a third Sheriff kill, and the confidence on this Killjoy to just start with a Sheriff and the turret. No armor, no nanoswarm. Do not want to play post plant. I'll just take the duels and I'll headshot everybody.
Yeah, I suppose that's the benefit to what the Belfast Met were doing there. They had the turret watching for the B push out, and then the Omen just sitting extremely passively toward the A to get any note, purely because of how far he can throw that dark cover to be able to get value for his team. And so they knew no one had pushed out B, and they knew no one was pushing A, so they had to put together in their minds that there was a rotate coming through spawn as soon as that kill onto the Reyna happened, and so they just grouped and left.
Vandals already purchased right here for the attackers. Do not want to play around with any SMGs. Do not want to lose any gun advantage versus forced by Stingers or Buckies. We do see a Sheriff on Snow for the defender Killjoy. But look at this, Daniel. Methodical Valorant played by Belfast. Default, collecting the orb in C long, rotating back to B, collecting the orb in B, and now Scott TV will most probably have their ultimate next round. So if they stay alive, they'll be able to drop the Vandal and use the ulti to get into a site. Even this round, as Snow gets a kill on MP4, was the lurker in C. This might open up the map, as also, I believe MP4 had the Vandal. So if the CCP Lighthouse can pick that one up, it's a 5v4.
Yeah, but these steps have been heard already. Util is coming out, and so now the jig is up. The hit is coming into A. Unfortunately, Cooper loses out with that inferior weaponry, and so the site is now in control of the Belfast Met, and the spike is going to come down uncontested. From how the defenders are grouping up here, Waxon, it looks like there's going to be a quick retake, but Swizzy gets a little bit over eager and unfortunately loses his life because of that, but that's fine because he only had a ghost. So now this is an even retake, but there's a whole bunch of Util coming out, and players are a little bit unfortunate. But trade 1 for 1 here.
HP advantage for the defenders right here, Daniel. They do not have the rifles. The flash will come in slightly too early. Snow get on the spike. Body shot then. Vandals to the box, but that goal spike is... No, Scott TV hit the wall and body shot swinging through the smoke. And what was a great attempt from the CCP Linehouse, it will prove to be very costly for the Belfast Met.
Yeah, but like you said, Waxon, because Scott has just been farming these orbs, if he wants to, he can give away his rifle and just use his ultimate this round. So it doesn't look like he will, though, as everyone on his team has enough economy to buy. The weakest buy of which being from Body Shot Ben with just that Spectre Light Shield, and all of them will have the economy for next round. As much as Chris only has that Sheriff, that can do a lot of damage, especially at such a far range.
Scott's not dropping, Daniel. I know we've been planning for him to do so. It doesn't seem to be the case. Just full confidence, taking control B main, getting yet another ultimate orb for the breach. We'll go back to C, get another one. They are playing this very nicely, and the Snow spotting a couple opponents upon hearing the switch. They do know that they rotated from B to C, but it doesn't matter. They're picking up the orb, they're going back again, and they have practiced this default, and I mean, it's worked the first 2 rounds. Why not just stick to it and will switch sides? But Koopa Troopa, why are you leaving A? I'm very confused what the raise rotated for the defenders.
Yeah, I think it was because they knew the door was open, and they have I assume they've broken the little door here as well. So just having Mesa doing that jump spot, noting the players' positions already, a load of abilities are being used there. Mesa is just trying to be ratted all the way out, gets the kill, and so advantage once again is in favor of the Belfast Met. It's these last 3 rounds have just been over and over again. These fairly similar outcomes here as another fight ensuing. But there's the advantage flipped back in favor of CCP, and Swizzy wants to have his say. He's saying, hey, you may have the advantage, but now you're both coming from the same position. We have MP4 watching, but that's not going to matter as MP4 falls, and it's all up to Swizzy in a 1v2.
Gotta play the time, will not get the first tap, and Snow will get another headshot for the CCP Lighthouse, but that was all Valensic on that retake. What I thought should have been a save, honestly. You don't want to give away too many rifles. Valensic said, don't worry, I got this, and they jumped in with the Omen, 3 headshots to bring their team back into the round, and the CCP Lighthouse with a well-needed round. But now, let's see the credits, because their economy might not be as good as we might have hoped for. They lost 3 rifles despite winning it, and the Belfast Met, they are gonna have a full buy. Armors, rifles, shields. Scott is gonna, well, they'll be going for the judge in the ultimate, but that's a Neon. That's the luxury of a Neon. And the defenders, Daniel, Marshall, Stinger, this does not work with them.
Yeah, the defenders, they know that their economy isn't the greatest, so they are just playing the same default that they have been. This looks like an aggressive C here as the dark cover is already been thrown. And here comes the judge, the first with Scott, immediately pushing backside, gets a second, picks up the upgrade, and that's the C site now entirely in control of the Belfast Met.
Well, if that last round was not safe, this must be a save. Unless Valencia can put yet another 3k from their bag, this is not gonna happen. Mesa gonna come in, gonna spot 2 opponents to the perimeter. We'll stop in, Flash coming in, but just slightly too late as Cardi gets hot on their feet. Flash coming in from Mesa. Koopa Troopa will try to clear corner. They do not have the guns for this. They have a Stinger. We'll have a blinding light coming in right now. Valencia just slowing down, but look at that corner right there.
Last player standing.
And before with the second kill, and it's Mesa. 1 versus 3, 47 HP. Mesa double phantom. Can do damage to one opponent. Nice headshot. Mesa
one enemy remaining.
Yes, they can. Another one. 7 HP. Mesa with a dream. The spike is ticking down. 4 bullets.
Yeah, they know that they just have to play time here because having that plant for main means that you can play exactly the way that Belfast did. They had 3 players toward that main and Swizzy managing to get that round, but that was a heavy loss for the Belfast Met. They lost all but 1 rifle, and yeah, they can rebuy, but look at their buy-wax and very broken here. 2 players opting for light shields and the rest opting for full. Scott is going to be using his ultimate this round though, having that classic full shield. So I can't wait to see how much damage he can get done with this, as they are changing their plan up for a quick A aggress.
I'll just crush him here.
We'll just fall back. We'll try to slow down Scott. They will be able to do so. Beyond wall coming in late. Scott just going to be running through. No slide just yet. We'll slide back into tree. Nothing yet. Scott gotta get the duel, and the judge from Mesa does some work, but body shot Ben will get them with a Vandal body shot and then a headshot from Ben. It's Valensic coming on the swing, MP4 holding the angle, and it's going to be a 2 versus 4. But the gun disadvantage. If you're the CCP Lighthouse, I don't mind this. Even if you get 1 more kill, you'll be very happy. A bit of chip damage coming in from Snow, and the Empress and the Bulldog. Swizzy will collect the kill, and it's MP4 with another one secured around. And honestly, Daniel, I like what Belfast is doing, but at the same time, CCP, they're down 3 rounds. But the first 2-3 felt like they were lacking the confidence that we know them for, and them attempting those retakes despite having the disadvantage in players and credits shows me that they are getting fired up and they're getting their confidence back. If they can do that at the beginning of the round and contest these areas that they have not been contesting, they might put some spanner in the works from the Belfast map.
Yeah, definitely. And like I highlighted in the Agent Select Waxen, they have this double duelist comp. So yeah, this isn't the half that you'd expect them to get the most amount of rounds on. So they probably are just going to be attempting to play for their attacking half, as we just have another slow default Waxen. Belfast are great at doing this. They change the pace up every now and then, and the alternate adaptation that they've made for this round is having 2 players over toward A. So Snow getting the first pick onto Scott means that the Belfast Met are probably going to have to fall back a bit, respect the positions, and CCP know that they like to just regroup and hit A. So they're holding more passive positions and hoping to play a 5-man retake.
4 ultimates both sides. Katie's trying to get the duel before the Empress expired, will not be able to do so, and we'll get a hex shot instead. And it will be an A retake, but look at Swizzy pushing through the... Oh, very good try right there. Through the smoke, we'll get on side, and we will be looking at a 4 versus 4, 3 versus 3 ultimate retake. Is the Nightfall going to do the better? Nightfall coming in, first from the attackers, Mesa still clearing. With the Seekers not being invested just yet, will spot the opponent Killjoy. Can you isolate the Killjoy as your defender's lockdown coming through? Attackers will respond accordingly. Swizzy will disengage.
Yeah, the players are just being forced back here as the Venn diagram goes up, the lockdowns come out, and they're about to pop. We are going to see an amazing quick retake here as the Seekers get popped. All of the players are falling down now from heaven, but that doesn't matter because the Rolling Thunder gets used. Out comes the Haunt, marks 3 players, just the aggressing comes out, gets 1, gets 2, unfortunately doesn't get the 3rd, and there's just a whole bunch of trades. Advantages in favor of CCP, but the Spike needs to get defused. Does he have the time as the kill comes through? Time is ticking down, and I think he has it, Waxen. I think he might just about... No! He doesn't. 0.67 seconds left. That is another round win for the Belfast Met.
They threw absolutely everything they had in their bag, and completely honest with you, Daniel, the CCP Lighthouse made that way closer than it should have been. When you have a Nightfall, Rolling Thunder, and a lockdown for the attackers in the post plan, you should have that secured despite the defenders having a couple ultimates in their bag themselves. It's just the Rolling Thunder and the Nightfall are much better than the Seekers are in that context, and the CCP Lighthouse still made me believe, and that's what I'm saying. Their confidence is coming back, but they need to convert into at least a few more rounds on this half if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, I'd definitely say they need at least the 4 or 5 rounds here. Like their double duelist comp, yeah, it can get a whole bunch of work done on the attack, but if you're already trailing so many rounds, that is going to affect your confidence. That is going to affect your team dynamic, and so you need a little bit of just backing. But it looks like there's going to be another hit over towards C here. and Snow is all alone on the site.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Killjoy with a Sheriff and a Nanoswarm behind the turret. I don't think Snow can get anything, but does get a tag in. Scott is down to half HP. A swing from Mesa coming in down to 39. Can they get a tag? Beautiful Judge jump from the sky. Second one, Mesa. Oh, but Koopa Troopa dies while we're trying to assist the teammate. And it'll probably be the end of the round unless Katie can do something with this Bulldog. If I could give them a piece of advice right now with B. You've got two duelists, Lighthouse, and you're playing defenders. Belfast is from... We see a final duel here. We know Sweezy was going to win that round. But it's been 7 rounds, Daniel. Only one of them, the attackers, did something else than default. So 6 rounds... default, you let them take control of the map, put the pressure on you, collect and farm the ultimate orbs, while you have two duelists on the defender side. Contest those areas, use the Sky Flash, swing with the Raze, swing with the Reyna, get the kill, disengage. It's not the way you're supposed to be playing when you've got the duelists on the defender side. And we're seeing Belfast is just abusing the fact that the CCP Lighthouse is playing way too passive with their comp.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Belfast are just abusing these orbs. They know that there is next to no contention, next to no trap plays set up for to shut down any grabbing of those orbs, and so Belfast they're just taking them for free. And so now having two of the orbs already grabbed and the door from B to C opened, there's rotates coming through already, but the spike is over toward B here, and so the rotates aren't exactly in the right spot, as now the door gets opened once more, just again to try and misdirect, to try and bait the enemy, bait CCP into overreaching, into over peaking, and losing the advantage even more, as they already have their smokes player down. And so potentially in this retake that we're going to be seeing, it's going to be really hard for them to try and do much.
And again, despite being a player disadvantage right now, it was your Omen that took the initial duel. Instead of having the Raze Reyna play rotator in base, you should have the Omen do that. Now, you don't have smoke for the retake, you don't have smoke to slow them down. Scotty's gonna still do the default, jumping in, wall, clearing tree, and it's yet again a player disadvantage retake, as we have a beautiful C's right there coming in from the fade.
Bring them down.
I don't know what you're supposed to be doing, because if you go for the retake and you don't do it, you're gonna have an eco again, so maybe just save. As Katie gets the first kill, but Scott just swings and taps Koopa out of the server. Snow will get another one, still very far. Team Flash, MP4 gets one. The time is running low. Mesa jumping inside, and so does MP4. Snow. One more kill, 2 more kills. Okay, it's a triple for Snow. That's what they needed, Daniel, but it wasn't clean at all as Mesa flashed Snow while they dropped inside.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a clean retake. As much as they won the round, they like you said, there probably was a lapse in communication there. Players peaking a little bit too early, or plans coming in a little bit too late, and so that did end up in a few more players from CCP dying. But Waxen, if this is the turning point for them in this half, if that was the round that they needed for them to be able to rally themselves together and come back, they're gonna have to do it on the back of a weak buy, of a half buy of sense. All in the meantime, Belfast are just keeping up with their slow default.
Face your fear!
But never mind that, it's changing.
Yeah, it's not a default. It doesn't matter. You know you've got the power. Oh, okay. The Nanoswarm will slow down. Sweezy was alone inside for a split second, but will manage to fall back. And that was a beautiful fake. Take a look at the radar. The 3 attackers gonna isolate Koopa Troop on side. MP4 will get another first blood. Jumping in. A second one for the MP4. The spike would get planted. And that was flawless played from Sweezy to fake it. Alongside the Neon, it's a 3v5. Mesa will finally put an end to the reign of terror from MP4. But yet again, what can you do? Player disadvantage. Can Mesa isolate another duel? As we've seen Belfast in this post-plan scenarios playing it to perfection thus far.
Yeah, just clearing every angle. Now CPC are probably noting that all the players are going to be over toward tree. The blinding light comes out, gets 1, gets 2, and immediately gets retraded by Scott. Scott now having to use that slide to get any closer, popping the overdrive, just running down at the players. And so the secret got used from the side of CPC there in an attempt to slow down that. there's been a whole bunch of errors in these past few rounds, Waxen, from CPC. In that position, you definitely don't want to be using those Seekers. That, like, you heard the Neon pop her ult. That isn't potentially going to be enough time for you to use yours to counter hers.
We're looking at yet another force buy from the defenders. Can we see Koopa Troopa pop off with the showstopper? I think it's the first time they've been in possession of the ultimate on Raze. On the attacker side, we've got Breach with the Rolling Thunder, and I think the Lighthouse. Okay, finally a bit of aggression, but what can you do? You've got a Stinger. Yeah, you're really not to control, but now you're probably going to lose the duel because of the rifle disadvantage. Spot will take another one, and Valensic with a nice double tap.
B.
Two teammates traded, and Rolling Thunder taking off the server. Mesa, Koopa Troopa taking another duel, and finally, Daniel, this is what I've been asking for.
Yeah, this is definitely how you want to be playing this composition on the defense. You want to be setting up trap plays with that paranoia, with paint showers, and then as soon as the orb gets taken, you want to be pushing it. But as this round is wrapping up, probably in favor of CCP, I don't want to say don't want to call it too early, as there is a player that has been healed up to full with that overgrowth. And the spike is down in this being main position. Player now noted, and so it's all up to Swizzy in a 1 versus 3. Has to recover the spike. 40 seconds left on the clock, but as soon as he tries to, out comes the flash, out comes the swing, gets the first. Can he get more? Is this round going to be won? Gets a second. Oh my god! I jinxed it, Waxen, again, as Swizzy wins that round, getting 4 kills on it to do so. And Belfast, even when they are down in numbers, even when their back is against the wall, Swizzy can pull it out from the hat and get the round win for them.
I'm speechless. For a team of the caliber of the CCP Lighthouse, yes, okay, I'm glad they realized the timeout was needed because there's nothing else you can do after that. Daniel, I loved the setup. I thought they might have played it too passive, but then I saw Mesa with a hawk out ready to flash. Pop flash upon the Omen contact and have your third teammate swing. That's not what happened. Mesa popped flash for themselves. Obviously, by the time they swung, it was too late. Allowed Swizzy to get the first kill, generated the momentum, tap, tap, tap. 2 seconds later, 3v1, 1v none, Belfast 8-2. This is absolutely unbelievable performance from the Fade player, but at the same time, I have to question some of the uncharacteristic mistakes that we currently see from the CCP Lighthouse players. And because they are one of the newer teams, obviously we talked about the fact that they have 3 new players. I have to ask you, Daniel, do you think this timeout is enough for them to turn it around?
I think definitely just being able to have this timeout, have that 1 minute, talk together as a team, be able to collect yourself and get a game plan for these last 2 rounds in this half. It probably isn't enough for this half, but they might be potentially just saying, hey, do as best as we can. We've been making these errors. Let's try and change them as they have now with 3 players over toward A and having the rain afloat. But unfortunately, Valensic just gets taken down, a little bit swarmed by the players of Belfast. And the B site now, the site that has yet to been hit by Belfast, is now entirely entire control of them. And the spike is just going down after their due diligence of taking it.
Great attempt to hide in the corner from KT, but meanwhile Koopa Troopa will get stunned and killed. Snow will collect 1 kill, and it's now going to only be Mesa with the classic. Will get the kill. Can they get a hand on the Vandal? 1 more flash out in CT. Will manage to get a headshot, but it's only a classic. Another flash will not get it this time onto Swizzy. And it's a 3 versus 1, 9-2. Great effort on the pistols, and it's the final chance, Daniel. The CCP Lighthouse. They know what's worked. Previous round worked for them perfectly because they played aggressive. Yes, there was a bit of a miscommunication at the end. They just need to replicate that initial part of the round and hold on to the player advantage.
Yeah, like they need to be setting up these trap plays, Max, and like as you said, the round that they had the most success, unfortunately they ended up throwing it right at the end, was because they had that trap play over toward that B orb. They know that Belfast like to play for these orbs, and so they are trying to do something similar, but that just immediately gets halted by that aftershock getting thrown through, and the orb is just taken for free.
Operator in hands of Koopa Troopa, I believe, for the first time this half. Yeah, I think it is.
Yep.
Koopa Troopa just deciding to pick up the big gun. But I'm looking at the Belfast utility, and yes, CCP's got some big ultimates themselves, but let's see. Can they stop this swarm? And they're not even going to attempt it. We'll initially go for a post-plan scenario. As I say that, we have Rita jumping in Katie inside with the Emperor's not managed to do anything. And now Scott is going to swing in with a flash. What a perfect tactic right there from the attackers. And it's already two-player disadvantage with MP4. Once they take this fuel, stun gun coming from Neo. Mesa can't do anything about it. And it's a miss. Scott will finally get taken out, but the opponents are swarming the base. MP4, yet another double kill. And I gotta say, Daniel, I feel like MP4's gotten a double kill every single round this half.
Yeah, like that was definitely one of the thorns in the side of CCP for their defense. They weren't able to deal with MP4 nearly as effectively as what they should have been. Being 13-9 after 12 rounds, Waxon, on the Killjoy of all characters, the character that you're expecting to play the most passively, the character that you're wanting to hold flanks and just gather information with their util, ended up getting 13 kills in 12 rounds, and they weren't even the top frag for their team. So that shows how strong the Belfast Met are and how much firepower they have. As coming into this first round of their defensive half, they're going immediately for this triple player presence over toward Rubble, and they've taken it just like that.
We see the lighthouse attempting a bit of a default of their own, but look at Belfast. 3 players Rubble already. Breach, Omen, and Neon having full control of A long. As Snow will get the orb in B. The difference in the default, if you can see, Daniel, for the attackers this time around is that it's a way more passive default, and they don't have that much map control. By this point, we would have seen Belfast taking control of B and C, whereas C still very, very passive Sky player. Body shot Ben. Well played facing the wall with a flash in hand, as we see them shoulder peeking. Mesa gathering a lot of information. Slow and methodical, clearing the corner of the box. Will use the Trailblazer, doesn't spot any opponent. Nanos home on the 4. Ooh, MP4 breaking it instantly and will fall back.
Yeah, they're trying to go for this C here because they know they have a brief idea of where all the players are as the blinding light comes through and out comes the sight hit. 3 players swarming that lane. First kill happens on MP4, but Scott gets one on Cooper off screen in that B area. And as much as CCP got the opening pick, they're only just now getting the spike down, and Belfast are already ready to go for their retake.
4 versus 4. The post plant doesn't look great for the attackers, but they do have a Killjoy and hopefully some utility on the spike. We'll wait for the smokes to dissipate, and we have Paranoia reveal coming in. Swissy just swinging, fighting the duel, getting Mesa traded, but Swissy with the second headshot is dirty. It gets in the smoke, but Snow says stop. Mesa gets I'm right here, and it's a 1 versus 1. Snow needs to buy time. They know they're not on spike, they're just swinging through the smoke. Is the Omen aware? It's gonna be a tap. It's a fake. Can they stay alive? Snow just buying so much time, and I think the round will be going in favor of the attackers as Christopher will get the last kill, but it will be too late as CCP Lighthouse shows us the first sign of breath they have on the attacker side.
Yeah, planting in the on-site position immediately told Belfast that a load of the players were going to be on that site, so they knew that they had to have some form of a scrap to be able to potentially have an opportunity to defuse that spike. And just having that last player in that Killjoy being Snow toward main meant that they had to clear it as well, because once you kill everyone on site, you know that the final player is probably toward main or lurking elsewhere on the map, because the spike is planted for the site. They have to swing into you. And once again, we're seeing Belfast just going for this immediate A pressure. 2 players already on Rubble. The orb is being grabbed, so players have heard that. Out comes the Paranoia, out comes the Lear, down goes 3 players, 2 from the side of Belfast Met. And so CCP, they're just falling back, but they're falling back into Swizzy. And it's left up to one final player from Belfast Met being body shot, and the CCP, as much as Cooper is low, they're just grouping up and they're just pushing toward this C site. They know that the breach was over toward that A, off the presence that they saw right at the start of the round, and so it's all up to Body Shot Ben. Just for the classic, he's hoping to try and retrieve an upgrade, can do so in the form of a Sheriff, and it's all up to him now, Waxon.
Yeah, so far away from everything. Ben might not even go for it. They will do so actually. Spectre and Sheriff, a full utility if they want to use it, but that was some great exchange down A long in rubble, and I have to say, I think despite CCP losing so many people, they will come out on top of that exchange because they just realize what the setup will be as Ben is approaching through water, will get the first kill. Not too much time, Flash himself will tap the spike, the swing is going to come in from Katie, and it will be the 4th round on the board for the CCP Lighthouse with 5 guns lost in the process though.
Yeah, but like you say, Waxon, they now know what the A aggression is. They know what that set play is, and so in knowing that, they can make more informed decisions about their game plan in this buy phase to be able to pivot and position and where they're going to be going. But Belfast know that CCP know about this A hit now as well, and so they're changing up their default what they're positioning, having 3 players in fact over toward that C. They're now changing that set play to be a C set play, all while CCP have just funneled themselves into this B main.
Good pain shells coming in to push MP4 back. Ben cannot flash for their teammates because their teammate is held back by the nano swarm. Daniel, they've used so much utility and they've not committed. I don't know if I like this actually. As look at Scott's angle. If the door gets open, how many players, even at the highest level, would check deep left?
Yeah, I don't know. Because CCP, they might not even rotate here, as strange as that is to say. I think they're just trying to bait out information. They used all that util for next to no value, and they've just stayed in B main. And so this looks like a play coming in as the aftershock comes through. A door gets opened, first gets killed by Katie, second now drops, and it's all up to Belfast now. They're just pushing it in, gets the third, but Mesa gets one with a slinger. A little bit of a stun in the corner, and that is going to be the round. See, that's the issue. They used all of that util. They gave their positions away in B main, and then they made no noise after in hopes that rotates would come through, but no rotates happened, and so they just fell into that trap play, into that adaptation that Belfast could make because of everyone's position on the map, having that player over toward door.
I won't fault that round too much on the back of what I believe to be not the best decision, but on the fact that it had the gun disadvantage. But now this is it, your final chance. What could very well be the final gun round of this match. And Scott TV just says, "Hello, Katie. Goodbye, Katie. I've got your head, and I'm running away with it. I'm gonna help my team." And yeah, CCP is down one of their duelists that had popped the Empress, as Mesa will shred almost half of the HP of the opponents. Which is good. You got 2 players below 100. But what are you going to do now? Your main end point of entry is out. You have lost 2 of your flashes. You still have a Sky and an Omen. Fair enough. But can Koopa Troopa pair up with them to get on side? As we have both Fizzy and MP4 holding down this.
Yeah, the C's gets thrown a little bit too early, and so now the second molly has to be thrown from the Killjoy to try and stop her pushes. Rotates are rapidly coming through from Belfast Met. 2 players running through spawn, leaving that solo A anchor. Seekers were popped there, and once again, repeated theme by CCP. No value. Cooper getting a kill just by spamming a bit onto Scott here.
No, I think it was B. Koopa all the way in B.
Cooper's just got on B.
30 seconds left.
That's a great lurk, but can they hold the side? We've seen so many 4 versus 4 5 end around scenarios. We have a Cloudburst coming in from the Omen. Mess up with the first one. Finally, A player advantage for the Lighthouse. Can they hold onto it? Let's look at Sweezy. Afraid it might be a flanker. Body shot Ben with another flash. Pushing through the smoke. Flash from the Omen. Paranoia will not do enough as Sweezy will get exposed from the smoke. And Koopa Troopa, the player of the round. Beautiful game sense from the Rays to just lurk in at the right time and secure that B-bomb site. And now, well, this is a start. This is a start, Daniel. I'm not a believer in the comeback yet, but we're looking at Swizzy. Swizzy does not have money to purchase a gun. Scotty, come on, Scott, drop the Vandal, play with the ultimate. Let Swizzy get some more headshots. 22 kills and 7 deaths. You want your fate to have a rifle, right, Daniel?
Yeah, definitely in this position, but it doesn't appear to be. Instead, Scott's just going to go for this aggression again. Unfortunately, misses the relay bolt, and so slides into rubble, but the Omen is already there, and that's Valet getting the first kill onto Scott. Rifle is dropped, and so that is not going to be retrievable, but Chris trades it back, and Snow just lines both Chris and Ben up to get 2 kills, and now, Waxen, we're not even 30 seconds into the round, and it's a 4v2 post plan.
That's what I like to call instant karma, Daniel. You didn't want to drop your teammate the gun when you had an ulti that deals damage. That's what you deserve. Let's see if Susie can do some damage with the Sheriff. They cannot. MP4 will get the kill, but there is another lurker right there. They're aware of Mesa. The flash will come in. MP4 has to run away. They're gonna play the music in a different corner. Trailblazer invested to push MP4 even further back, and there will have to be a save. For I think the first save we've seen all game. The CCP Lighthouse didn't really save, so MP4 will try to stay with their gun. And if you're CCP, you've got the credits to chase. I think all players have 3 to 4k credits, so if you're managing to get the kill or MP4 is definitely worth it. But okay, 1.3 for Mesa, but that's still enough to go chase for the Sky. For the Killjoy. The flash will come in, but yeah. MP4 will get away with their life. The economy is starting to look very nice for the attackers, but does it really even matter at this point, Daniel, when you're 2 rounds away from losing the game?
I mean, I don't really think so, Waxen, but equally, we're seeing an entire new CCP that we didn't see on their defense. They're being able to all of a sudden get themselves together and just win rounds that they weren't winning on their defense. And I think that mainly comes down to their IGL of being Koopa Trooper. But Scott just pops the overdrive and just runs all the way down, doesn't clear that close angle, and so Snow gets the kill. Then pushing up with it, and there's another overcommit as they were on an eco. They needed to get this position for Koopa Trooper with a little bit of a spam and then an immediate flick onto the head of Swizzy, trying to fake this B aggression, and that should be a rifle that can be picked up and recovered for Chris as the lockdown gets used and C-Site is now fully enveloped by CCB.
You realize you're under tons of pressure when you've got the 4 versus 2 gun advantage, player advantage, and you feel the need to use your lockdown to get on site. Even if they manage to win this round, which should have been a given, that's a very costly round. Using your lockdown in a 4v2 and before one side, Valence gotta have a nice timing, and now it's Krista. Are we going by Christ or Krista?
I would say Krista.
Krista, okay, we're going by Krista. Krista will save the Phantom, whilst MP4 was trying to do some more economical damage, although you can't really do that when the opponents have 5,000 to 6,000 in the bank. Krista will take the Phantom into the next one. It's 7-11, and it's not a superstore in the United States, Daniel. It's the scoreline that CCP is looking at in order to get back into this match. And I think if they manage to get one more, I'm going to start believing.
Yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say there, Waxen, just before pandemonium ensued there, was that I think the reason why CCP are looking so much better now on their attack than their defense, not only because this map is more favored toward attack with that 3 site, but equally having Koopa Trooper being their IGL on that raise, it's a lot harder to call when you're wanting to focus on your own play on the defense, when you're trying to make aggression and get set plays done. And so now that the chains have been unshackled, he can play how he wants on this attack, and he can call whatever he feels like. He's no longer limited to, oh well, I have to hold my site because if they push me and if I leave too early, well then that's just a free site and then we play retake and then we probably lose because we don't have enough abilities because we've used them to gather info elsewhere on the map.
Speaking of abilities, Daniel, the Belfast Met have already started to rack up some of their ultimates, some of the big ones actually, the Nightfall and the Rolling Thunder. And like we already mentioned, Snow has used up that lockdown, and we see a bit of a scuffle. We'll call it a scuffle, what just happened with a Trailblazer being popped and killed in less than a second and a half. But Koopa Troopa, with a lot of space in B, does not want to do this. Oh, maybe they do. Scott versus Koopa Troopa, who's going to win the duel? And, oh, the Phantom, just maybe the faster attack. The spray rate, fire rate, sorry, it is, getting the advantage, and now Showstopper gonna come in, Rolling Thunder will get a hold back, Koopa Troopa clearing the corner, and will now get a nice advanced position as the Rolling Thunder gonna come in. Then Nightfall following in, they're gonna swing through the smoke, the Leer being thrown out, can they spot anyone? No, they cannot mess up, but let's get another one, and it's just dry peaks, they're all dead, it's MP4 taken out, and that is it, Daniel, and like I said, I'm starting to believe.
Yeah, definitely, especially after that round. Belfast having to use both the Rolling Thunder to stop the plan and the Nightfall in an attempt to do a quick retake. But they use those two ults that were so powerful that can just win rounds outright. And they didn't get value from it. And so because of that, they're now forced onto a broken buy here, having 4 players opting for light shields and the worst gun that they have being a Spectre. So this round, the pressure is definitely mounting against them, but like you say, they still only have 2 rounds left for them to win, compared to CCP needing 4 to be able to make it to 12, assuming Belfast don't before them, and 5 for them to win this game.
MP4 just said, I don't care. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna get some headshots for myself. And I like that. MP4, like we said, played the attacker side pretty much like a duelist, and will attempt to replicate some of that success in the duel versus Snow's Killjoy. Let's see which one of the German tech agents will come out on top. None of them will, as it's a nice disengage as Koopa Troopa.
I've got your
Will Scott holding? Oh, that's a lot of damage. We'll have to satchel themselves. How can Koopa Troopa get away? Yes, they can. As Scott is just slightly too late. That was a great contact play, the way it should be done. But now the A side is clear, but they have a lockdown. Nothing to counter the lockdown of the defenders. The spike is not planted yet. They're still stuck in tree, Daniel. They're taking extremely long to get down on site.
And there's a player toward this heaven. Whether or not it goes cleared or not, we don't know. But this lockdown, like you say, being used, unfortunately, not in the best position as it forces players into tree. And Mason manages to get one, but gives a rifle over to Ben, and so now it's a 4 versus 4 retake with most of the players towards tree, trade back and forth, and now advantage once again in favor of CCP. It's all left up to Swizzy, and that's nothing that he can do as a paranoia comes through and swings come through in favor with it, and that's CCP on 9-0 action. They've won, I think, at least 5 consecutive rounds now.
CTP Lighthouse, yeah, I mean, Daniel, you're right. They've won 5 rounds in a row, but I gotta give it down to the tactical decisions, or the lack of tactical decisions, or either part. The reason the A side was clear is because the Belfast Met hold, we're going to play a retake with the lockdown, which is a great call. But at the same time, you cannot leave the entirety of A long uncontested, because then what happens, the attackers use no utility to get on site. And that's why we saw so many flashes, and the paranoia is still in play, as MP4 has a good argument and says, I don't care about utility, I care about headshots, and I'm going to get 1. Can I get more? No, I'm not.
Yeah, but Cooper's already pushed out. Intercepts the 3 players rotating through spawn. Manages to get one and a bunch of damage onto the other. And so now his whole team knows that these final 2 players left from Belfast are just coming through their own spawn. The turret spots it, putting Body Shot Man down to 9 HP here. And so is probably just going to be used as bait here in an attempt to get anything done. And it's all going to be up to these 2 players. Paranoia comes through, flushing out the backside. It's all down to Chris. Gets 1, gets another.
Why?
And now Katie in a 1 versus 1. Chris down to 50 HP. Has to get on this spike. Time is rapidly ticking down here. But he can take his time clearing angles, throwing that smoke. And now Katie has the timing, notes the tap, and doesn't know that he's not sticking. Pulls out the shorty. Oh, there's a bit of a timing in the smoke. And that's Chris getting the kill. This is going to be another close round, Wax, and I don't know whether or not he has the time. He might just about, otherwise he doesn't, and that is another round win for CCP.
What goes around comes around, and losing a round with 0.67 on the first half is going to come back in your favor, and it does just at the right time. 0.4, and Krista with a great attempt at retaking that situation, but it was only possible because the CCP Lighthouse got a bit cocky and wanted to take duels one by one despite having the HP and the player advantage.
Yeah, and Belfast are just changing up their strategy entirely here. They've now got the stack over towards C, but they're mimicking this A aggression with just that C. Fade now taking all of Rubble, trying to salve this fake as if there is more than one player here, but they know that no other equal has been used. The blinding light goes out, and the rotate is already coming through from the Killjoy. Kill does happen in favor of both teams, and so that's a very good amount of damage with just the Sheriff on this eco for Belfast. They need this round if they want to have any sort of hope that this game isn't running away from them, as the spike is coming down and most of the players from the side of CCP once again are grouping toward this tree position.
MP4 and the backside. Paranoia coming in, Scott TV. Gonna try to get a kill, but they cannot. Nice running gun from body shot bang with the Sheriff. Mesa still inside. How is Mesa still in that position? This might gonna get popped. Not gonna get defused as it's now Mesa on site, dealing lots of damage, showing us the experience they have. Krista in a 1v2, and it's back to the drawing board for both teams as it's down to 11-11. I am speechless, Daniel, because the momentum has completely shifted. Belfast has yet to take a tactical timeout, and it don't even seem like they want to do it now either.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to say anything in terms of the rounds now, Waxon, because we saw what happened last time. I chalked any round up. But in terms of what's been happening, CCP, like I say, they've just got the momentum under them now. They now feel like they have the ability to be able to just pull rounds out when they shouldn't be pulling rounds out. And so once again, this Fade Util just faking that over toward A. And so not Belfast, CCP, I'm sorry, they think that they have a idea that it's once again just this fake as a new adaptations come out, a one-way towards C, which the players of CCP did know, and so now they're grouping and trying to hit this B site, knowing that potentially it's just going to be the Killjoy, because that's all that Belfast do in their default.
No ultimates other than the Omens. So, are we going to see any... Oh, no. Okay, sorry. I was just looking at the utility from Fade and the Defender's Fade and seeing how far she was from the Nightfall, but no, they're quite off. They could have went and maybe picked it off from A-Long, but they will play passive as they have control C-Long, and it's going to be a change of utility. Nothing bad happening just now. Paranoia, Trailblazer, Aftershock, and Mesa's gone. Yeah, that's what happens when you get stuck in a corner versus a Breach and an Omen.
Yeah, but because of that, now CCP are having to pick up their entire plan here. They're changing and immediately running over towards A. It's going to be all up to Swizzy. Gets the first and the spike now down in 3. He just has to defend it. Gets a second. Doesn't note the third towards sight. Unfortunately, can't do much. Does fall, but has he done enough to be able to stall? Rotates have already come through. The spike is picked up. Time is ticking down. 10 seconds left on the clock, but the Omenor is being used. The TP is coming out all the way over toward that C site. Cooper manages to get a kill onto MP4, and now the spike will come down with enough time, but it's all up to Val here in a 1 versus 2, TPing over toward main in an attempt to hold the flank as the players are grouping up again, Waxon, from the side of Belfast. Belfast need this round if they want to have their shoe foot in, and they're knocking on the door for victory here. So they're playing together, they're playing slow, methodically, clearing out all of the CT as there was plenty of time for a reposition, pinging the spike from the side of CCP so they know where to spam for when the smoke comes down. The smoke was a little bit misplaced, and that's Val with the 3 kills, on the round. And that's CCP now, advantage point, match point, Waxon, this whole time.
Smoke, wall, both used off spike. Neither the wall nor the smoke covered the spike, which just allowed Valencic to just get 2 headshots and win. That must hurt if you're the Belfast Met, but you can't think about it right now. This is your last chance. You were up 11-4, I believe, at one point. This is your last chance to take us to overtime, and you got to do it now. You got to forget about all the mistakes. You got to forget about the momentum that you've lost about half an hour ago, and you have to wake up now if you want this. You have a Nightfall. Can you use it to combat the showstopper and the lockdown? As we have a nice swing coming with the breach, but it's going to get traded instantly by the Vansing. And finally, the attackers are not losing the Omen. The controller is still alive.
Yeah, and they're just saying, hey, let's just speed up our hit once more. Yeah, we've lost a player, and yeah, we have the advantage, but we have the lockdown now after grabbing that orb. We're going to use it on that C site. Force out any players that are here, but they're pushing out a little bit too prematurely. And thankfully, though, that's not a downside to them as they get the kill onto MP4. And you use the Seekers as well. And now all positions should be noted. Player coming in through the T-spawn. Noted by the Seeker, though. And so there's already Mesa here just watching it as the Nightfall is going to get used really far back. Blind comes through. Mesa gets the kill onto Swizzy. And so it's all left up to Chris and Ben. Paranoia comes out. A little bit of a swing happens. Mesa gets the kill onto Chris. Molly gets popped. And that will be it. That will be CCP coming back, winning 13-11 Waxen against Belfast.
Unbelievable. Again, experience beats talent, and the Belfast Met have so much talent, but the experience from the Lighthouse, Mesa and Koopa Troopa calling the shots, bringing their team mentally back in, and that's what esports is all about, Daniel. What a series to start off this Wednesday. The first time Valorant on the mainstream for the 2023-2024 season. And I gotta ask you, before we go on a break, Daniel, who is the MVP? Because all the 10 players were stunning.
I would 100% say Cooper. Being able to rally your team in that attacking half after having such a horrendous defense, not going in the way that you wished for it to, and then being able to just say, hey guys, it's fine. We are just going to bring it back on attack. We have a better playbook. We can make strats. We can abuse Belfast's defense and their errors. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah, Belfast went for those trap plays, went for those orb gathering farms, but that just wasn't enough for them to be able to get their foot over the line.
Definitely wasn't, and I have to agree with you. Great calling from the IGL of the CCP Lighthouse, and the Lighthouse is here to stay, still shining as bright as ever. As for us, we will go on a short break, but when we're back, we've got more Valorant action coming your way. Welcome back to the British Esports Student Champs. It's the Nationals. It's me, Waxon, joined by Daniel with the second series of the day. And the first one was an absolute banger. I can't find a different word to describe that one. And hopefully this one's going to be even better because we got Leamington, we've got the Cambridge Inferno, Daniel, and we've got the Veto already in our hands.
Yeah, we do. As we are now coming into it, and we're seeing all the bans one by one, Waxon, starting off with Lotus and then Ascent.
No more Lotus for us.
I'm grateful that we're not getting any Ascent today either. Followed by Sunset and Breeze, as to be expected, the new and reworked maps, and it looks like we're going to be going to Bind, Waxon.
Wow. First of all, these teams are storming through the draft. They've been waiting. They've been watching that previous game, probably getting excited to get on the server. And we're going back to, yes, Daniel, I'm going to say it again. The best map in Valorant, and it's Bind.
Yeah, this map is probably one of the nicest maps to be able to just, do what we do and cast it, because as much as you have the sites that are really close to the avenues of entry, you also have those TPs. So you can have those plays where you can just immediately evacuate out and change your entire plan, bait the defenders into early rotates and punish them for doing so, just by going through a little bit of a door and coming out the other end.
Yeah, and let's get into talking about compositions, because Bind's been, well, one of the first 3 maps that was released when Valorant came out. So since then, we've had, I think, maybe 12, if not slightly more agents added to the agent pool. So the meta on Bind has changed so much over the last few years. Originally, we used to see teams like FPX play the Viper and the Brimstone. And although that's still a comp that's, I believe, is very strong, especially at this level, because it takes you back to the Valorant basics, learn the lineups, get on site, play post plant, defender, just smoke everything off. Currently, we see a lot of variety on Bind and a lot of different choices when it comes to approaches to this map. Which one would you say is your favorite?
My favorite is probably going to have to be, I'm a big fan of the old FPX, now Na'Vi, and so the way that they play it is very interesting, because they section the maps off and they just manage to be able to get value out of every different section that they have. If it's the Viper wall up A short, or B short even. No, A short even, yeah. To be able to just have that potential for a lurk, or having that other smoker to be able to hit that B site if they decide to rotate and just sell a fake on A. But in terms of composition, I think Chamber is still very powerful on this map. In terms
you really
of
want to see a Chamber today, don't you?
Hey. We had 2 maps where Chamber is quite powerful. Killjoy is obviously probably the strongest Sentinel. But if teams want a little bit more firepower, I'd say Chamber is definitely more viable on Bind than he is on Lotus, because you can just corner off an area of the map and then fight with your team elsewhere, or even have a cross map TP where if you're rotating, you can just immediately get in. But coming into agent select already, Waxon, we're seeing a hover of a Cypher and a Yoru.
I think Cypher is actually going to be the Sentinel of choice, maybe even a Sage we sometimes used to see on Bind, but wow, it's not just a hover, Daniel. We're looking at yet another double duelist comp, and it's the Yoru, and I am so excited to see this play out, as Crunch, for the attackers, also hovering the Yoru.
Yeah, we might be seeing a face-off of double duelist here, as the Jet and the Yoru both get locked. So we have the Raze Yoru versus the Jet Yoru, and hey, Waxon, there is a Chamber.
Unbelievable. I think, what can I say? Sky versus Breach, Omen versus Brimstone, flashes go boo, duelists go in, Jet Raze. Daniel. After the 13-11 on map 1, we're now going to Bind, and this is how we're opening up. I am So excited to be here with you, Daniel, and let's see what these two titanic teams have in store for us. Both of them going for a Yoru. Is it going to be Hero Klim? Is it going to be Crunch? Which one of them will come on top? But also the everlasting battle between the Raze and the Jet. And we talked about the beginning of the game. Both of these duelists were always so good on this map. Which one do you think can have more impact? There's no fade, so Raze can't combine with any seer for a seize from the teammate. Is the Jet gonna just be better to play faster with the Yoru?
Yeah, I don't think so entirely, because typically when you have the Sky, you tend to want to have a Jet because you can pop flash and then effect faster. But because you have that Yoru, you can gate crash after every enemy has been blinded and just be behind the team, all while Raze is double satchling in. And now you have a bird in the air after being blinded, and a person now backstabbing you that you weren't aware of, you couldn't see where the TP was.
Right here.
I don't know if you spotted that in chat, everybody at home. I will just tell you what happened in chat. The attackers went, "You will need, enter, good luck." These are some big fighting words coming in from the side of the attackers. Let's see if Leamington will be able to back up their tough talk at the beginning of this map, as we have a nice contact. It's actually a rush. What am I talking? It's a rush down short, but then look at the kill as Mr. Dodgy, nice and numb, will get one. Oh my god, so much damage with the paint shells. The attackers, all of them are less than half HP. And no, the Boombot, the Roomba taking out Camfries. And it's now down to a 2 versus 4. The breach in the chamber, low HP.
Last player
What can you
standing.
do? As it doesn't matter, you can't do anything. The
Down
Prince
A.
just runs and guns you down.
Yeah, and that's the spike down at Lamp. So now, noting the final player being the chamber over towards short, spamming is just coming through these smokes as they should be fading now, yeah, relatively soon. And so position is now noted, but it doesn't matter. A little bit of damage onto Hero Klim, and that's the round one for CRC.
The Spartans have been sent to hell by the Cambridge Inferno. What a start to this defender side pistol. Getting the first few kills and doing so much damage with the paint shells. Mr. Dodgy is red. Is it Mr. Dodgy or Mr. Doggy? We'll go with Mr. Doggy, right, Daniel?
Yeah, Mr. Doggy.
Yeah, great start. And now, yeah, you might bite on your tongue next time when you want to go for such a spicy language at the beginning of the map, especially when you can't even get 2 kills in the first pistols.
Yeah, but they're changing it up now. Instead of going 5-man down to short, they're putting 4 towards shower and 1 towards short with a very late lurk of that chamber. The smokes are coming out, petitioning the site. So now the calls have been made. Hero Klim gets the first paint shell, comes through, separates the fight, but unfortunately caught with that flash in hand. So that's Ava getting a kill, and Deadhand immediately trading back on that short player. They now know that they've rooted out the lurk. And so pushing through the smokes with the bookie. But Mr. Doggy gets another.
Last
Trading
player
once more.
standing.
Advantage now in favor of CRC, and the final player is Camfries left in showers, 1 HP, and that will be the round. But losing 3 guns though, Axon.
That was very dangerous, and I'm just gonna put it out there. The Bucky on the Sky pushing through the smoke, not good. I don't want to see that again. Although I want to see more Buckies. I think Bind is a great map for shotguns, and as you know, Daniel, I'm a man that loves all these unconventional, let's call them, guns. The shotguns, the Odins, the Ares. But yeah, like you mentioned, very costly. They will have to go to a partial buy, a few Spectres and a few pistols. And yeah, this round should be a pretty flawless one for the Spartans if they want to have a chance on this attack side. You don't want to lose any guns versus the SMGs.
Yeah, and throwing that blinding light immediately after that fire smoke comes down. Notes that there is at least a player over toward long. Set up from Cypher is coming through.
What?
That's the buff to the trips. They weren't broken, so they just redeployed because the decoy went through them. And as much as the trade comes through, that's still now advantage in favor of the defenders here. And
why would you even go hookah? Why would you go hookah when you've got the rifles? You know the opponents don't have credits. Just press tab. Look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, but the TP was noted. Unfortunately, Hero Klim can't do much. Gets a whole bunch of chip damage over toward the chamber there.
Spike planted.
And the spike comes down now. 3 versus 3 retake. but the less favorable weapons for CRC.
You say that, but like the chamber's down to like 1 bullet. Even a stinger long distance is gonna kill that chamber. As this is a nice coming in from Aura. Will get down to 46 HP, and it's only gonna be dead now. So 1 versus 3. Will swing for the smoke with the sheriff. If they can get 1 more kill, it would be more than enough. Swinging with a flash, will get 1. Can they kill it on inside? Yes, they can. What a turnaround! And it's both low HP. Deadhand can maybe pull this one off. Still have a flash. It doesn't even matter. We're just gonna defuse the spike.
He's going to get spammed through the box. He has to. Yeah, spam comes through as the stick doesn't get stuck. Goes for a swing and unfortunately ends up losing. But that's extremely costly for the Spartans there, Waxon. They lost 4 rifles, only bringing 1 over. Yeah, they can fall by, but if they lose this round, like, they're going to have a whole bunch of damage done.
And they can't afford full utility. They can't afford heavy shields. Crunch can't even afford anything other than a sheriff and a light armor. So
that works.
Despite the chamber managing to clutch that, yeah, like you said, they were playing versus water guns essentially, and they almost lost the round.
Yeah, and once again they're just back to the push that they did on the first round of the half. Just 5-man pushing up short. Noted by Mr. Doggy now. They have to speed this up. Fails with the dash, unfortunately, into the wall. They're just trying to root out Mr. Doggy here, throwing all of the util, but Heraclim's come through, wrapped through a TP, either a gate crash or the TP, and now has control over showers, and there's going to be a crunch happening here from all players as we're in a 5 versus 5 retake.
Nice headshot coming in from Campfire all the way from elbow. Will get traded. Heraclim with another one. It's a Euro off 1 versus 1. Sheriff kill for Vandal. Will flash themselves out. No, the Omen gets spammed and Ava gets taken out. Dead hand waking up on the sky. Mystic on the flank. But nice swing from Crunch to attempt to surprise the opponent with a flash. It's only Cake. Cake with the 1 versus 3 will get 1 kill. The spike will get defused. And now the Spartans' economy has crumbled.
Good try.
Yeah, they went from such a strong showing on their buy round to all of a sudden just like fumbling it. Like, yeah, they won the round, but their economy is now ruined for assumedly the next at least 2 rounds, Waxon, because they're not going to be able to buy this one, and so they're going to just be forced onto a weaker buy here and potentially having to play for next. And these first few rounds in each half are so pivotal to how each half will play out. As we saw with our last series, you know, they so many rounds were won on the attack, and that's what ended up determining who won. But out comes the dimensional drift, noting a player over toward market, noting another, and Heraclim is just trying to get as much information as he possibly can, maybe trying to go for a kill, spotting the chamber over toward long. Unfortunately, doesn't end up going for anything, just gathers all of that information and gate crashes out.
The round has just reset. I don't know if the dimensional drift invested so early on in the round versus an eco was the correct choice to do, but hey, if it's working, it's not broken. And the Cambridge Inferno will try to take control of elbow. They will flash themselves in versus the raised judge. Didn't know he crossed, and they Aura will win the duel versus the judge. Close quarters with a ghost.
That hits the nerf, man. That nerf is coming into fruition there. Old patch that would kill, but unfortunately, there's just been a whole bunch of kills happening on the site. The spike is now down, and the final 2 players from the Spartans are over towards short. The Neural Theft noted both positions. There's the first, gets the second, and CRC are just showing their dominance here already, Waxon. 5 rounds in, they're 4-1 up. That round was expected to be lost, but when you had control over the site as well as Spartans did, they shouldn't have been able to die to a lurk play through showers.
I have to disagree here, actually, Daniel. I believe the attackers did way more than they should have, and I don't know if it's that they did more than they should have, but the defenders, Cambridge, just used so much utility. That was versus an eco where they used 3 of their ultimates. So yeah, going into the next gun round, I mean, we still have Global Strike and they're using it right away, okay?
Yeah, they're just taking that map control already, forcing, they used it on market actually, to be able to allow both duelists to get presence up there, but Deadhand now, unfortunately has to shoot the Euroclone position now noted, turns away, gets the kill onto Camfries as the Brimstone gets another swing out from Hookah with the upgraded weapon of the Phantom, gets a third, and once again, player advantages in favor of CRC. Not even 30 seconds into the
Last player standing.
Aura is playing on the
remaining.
defender side. Oh! 1, 2, 3, 4. This 1 versus 1. Can Ava get anything from this position? We'll have to TP. Wait, they have the ultimate, they have the TP, they have the spike. Everything is going in their favor. And forgot what you just saw 5 seconds ago. This is now or never. The Omen fighting to get the Spartans back into this half.
Yeah, Spike comes down, repositioning over toward Lamps here, potentially thinking about the Cypher flanking, playing that lurk play, wrapping all the way through T-spawn, but Ava isn't aware of that. The Cypher is just out on site. He hasn't gone short. Instead, he's just opting to rotate and get site presence now over toward the Spike. Potentially might be able to do something here, trying to clear out all the angles, but the Omen from the side of Spartans just knows that he doesn't have to peek until the Spike gets tapped, and repositions him for Ava, notes that the Spike is now being diffused, swings out, gets the ace, and that will be Spartans with 2 now on the board, just off the back of Ava.
Ava putting their team back on their shoulders, truly, and Spartan carrying the soldiers over the finish line in what was a stunning 1 versus 5. The roles were inverted. They were defending down a B long, and Ava manages to line them up one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the blink of an eye, and then a nice positioning in a post-plant situation. Ava just lighting the fire under their teammates, and now Crunch with the dimensional drift himself.
Once again, just opting to go for a potential aggressive A hit here, but the Yoru from Heraclim is just aggressively pushed out. The dog goes through the TP, stuns Camfries, and out comes the swing. There goes the first pick of the round, and so the play that was just go down short has now been disrupted. They are popping that exit plan. They are just TPing and using the Rolling Thunder, but the site is empty. Just Cypher util on it. Of those trips, the trips both get triggered. There's the first from Mystic, but unfortunately can't win a 1 versus 2 when they both double face, and so the Spike is down. 4 versus 3. Spartans need to be able to clean something out here if they want to win, but Ava just shooting through that smoke, gets his second. Mr. Doggy popping that showstopper, and now
1 enemy
2
remaining.
versus 2 make that a 2 versus 1. Time is ticking down.
Can Kage do anything?
1 enemy remaining.
Will spot one opponent, will get the first headshot. The Spike is being stopped from defusing. Switching to the Headhunter. 7 more bullets. You can do this. Satchel's coming in. Spike is being held, and it's gonna be defused. Kage! He
just defused!
Mr. Doggy, full confidence. Throwing in the spatula. Kage should have probably broken that spatula, but it doesn't matter. It's 5-2, and it feels like everything that Cambridge does, the Spartans do have a response for it, but just slightly too late.
Yeah, like, and that's a perfect way to summarize what we've been seeing so far, Maxon. They've had their plans. Their plans have worked until a certain point, and then all of a sudden they're just a second or 2 behind, and so they lose all their track, all their hold on the round, and then it results in them not getting the outcome that they expected. In that position there, the Spartans should have won that. You should have just been able to potentially discount the satchel or have the threat not be nearly as powerful as what it was. But coming in immediately, Crunch gets the first pick onto Mr. Doggy in Lamps. The Spike is already coming down, but a little bit of a spam is trying to stop it, and that's exactly what happens. And Skith gets the kill onto Ava. Camfries trades it back though, and the Spike is now repositioned and posted toward this short position. All 4 players from the side of Spartans just on this very close angle, and more trades coming through.
Scythe is still alive, gets a headshot, gets a wall bang. It's 2 versus 2. Orbital strike gonna come in, gonna eyes the push the sky away, the breach away. Aura will lose it, die of life, and it's Mystic.
One enemy remaining.
Brimstone, but a flash from Crunch
Oh, I
to
saved the
get
turn.
the triple
Don't make a
kill
big deal
and
about
keep
it.
the Spartans into this one.
Move
And
in
like I
after I
said,
strike.
despite
That's
being
when's it
slightly
weak.
slower in all of the things that they do, the Spartans still manage to clutch it out when it matters most. But Daniel, you do not want to be in a situation where you have to go big in 1v2s, 1v4s, 1v5s every single round you convert.
Yeah, definitely. And as we're seeing right now, Waxon, just from the scoreboard alone, the players, the teams, in fact, you can tell who's winning based on just the KDAs of the players. As much as Spartan have that high KDA right at the top of their leaderboard, you look toward the bottom end, and the players aren't performing nearly as well as what they as their opposition. You know, with 2 players being 3 and 8 compared to CRC only having a 1 kill differential between their bottom players of I think it was a 5 and 6. So you can really see what teams are getting the value and how these rounds have just been going based on the KDAs as much as it is a little bit precarious from this Camfrey's position. Paint Shell gets thrown toward Cubby. The gate crash has to be used. Sith gets the first one to Aura. Ava gets another one to Doggy though. And once again, all the teams have just rotated and they're all collected on this one side.
We're buying so much time for the flank to come through, but it doesn't matter as they start winning some of the duels. Can get the timing in here on the Jet, but no! The Jet just goes through the portal, but the Camfries is running away. The Cypher will slow down and will collect one of the rifles, but meanwhile, the Chamber is still in showers. So it's going to be a 2 versus 3, but can they get on A fast enough before the Chamber? It doesn't look like it, as the Chamber will continue to lurk. TP back to Hookah, and it's Camfries taking the duel in City. But no! Mystic just runs and guns and will get healed back up. And it's 1 full HP player for the attackers and 2 low in this 2 versus 2.
Yeah, and having that camera up as well as the Seekers that get popped, you just get so much information for free. Noting 1 player toward Albo, noting the second over toward Hookah. Tap on the spike comes through, out comes the Paranoia, gets both players half on the spike now. Dead Hand, 5 HP left, knows where both players are, but time is ticking down. The tap comes through once again, swing from Car, and there's the round once again in favor of the Spartans. They have seemed to be able to bring it back, Quaxon. They are now being able to play together.
Great round right there, but you can't say it's been a great round, Daniel, when they were playing versus Ghost and Sheriffs. Let's keep that in mind. That was a full eco, pretty much, for the defender side. And yes, the Spartans managed to clutch their 4th round, which is a very good scoreline thus far for attack side of Bind. But that was versus Pistols. So let's not forget about that aspect. Yes, you also managed to get a lot of ultimates being used, both the Neurotech and the Seekers. But that was way too close for comfort versus a bunch of Pistols.
Yeah, but once again, Waxon, CRC, they're just holding their defense. They're playing all the way over to A here with just all these players. 2 of them now in TP.
Wow.
Heroclim gets the first one to Aura, which allows for the TP to be opened. Swing comes through, clears that close angle, and Dead Hand just puts down Camfries right in a grave as the headshot comes through, and the immediate rotate from the side of the Spartans now. All 3 players have grouped up. They're pushing over toward this B side because they know that 2 of the players on this B side at least TP'd. Last player here could be Cypher. TP comes out onto site. Unfortunately, Mystic gets the kill. That is the spike down on the site. The final 2 players of the Spartans are in Hookah, and the Sky Smoke has come down. So it's going to be very hard for them to be able to even get out of this position, Waxon.
You can't even save. You don't have what to save. Kage has a headhunter, and that's about it. No rifle, no operator, no SMG. Just maybe save with the Yoru and send your
30 seconds
Cypher
left.
attempt to get a few your Chamber attempt to get a few headshots, and that's the kind of what we're seeing right now. Although the Yoru does keep on spamming with the Vandal. Can Kage make anything happen? Almost spots his one shot there. Yes, they can get one. Dead Hand will find it, but meanwhile, Crunch will lose their life in the process, and that was not what you wanted from that round at all. It all happens due to maybe a misclick from Ava, TPing on top side instead of TPing default and planting for your post-plant scenario in Hookah. And that's going to be very costly, Daniel, as they can't really afford a full buy. We see 2 rifles, but you can't buy much more. You will have a tour de force for the Chamber. So yeah, okay, they're pretty well invested into this round, as we see the both Yorus actually in the possession of the Dimensional Drift, and I think they're both going to use it right away. Running past each other.
Running past each other. All of the information has been gathered for Heraclim, but Mr. Dodgy's position has been noted. They know now that the race is over toward Lamps, and unfortunately Mr. Dodgy just gets the kill immediately as Crunch comes out of that Dimensional Drift. Flash gets thrown over towards short, and the kill comes through for Aura, immediately gate crashing out. And now once again the speed has been picked up toward Hookah, but Dead Hand firing a little bit too early. Unfortunately, manages to be able to get out with his life, and the jig is up. The push is over toward B now. but the players from CRC, they don't entirely know that yet. So the rotations are coming in extremely slow.
5 versus 3. The defenders do not want to let this one go, and you can tell by the way they're holding crossfires all around on the A side, on the B side. Camfries, you just need a bit of a wonder. As we say that, Scythe overcommits across the map, allowing Kagi to get the first kill. Still a crossfire between close left and Dead Hand will get the first one. As the Cypher is not yet exposed, with the second one. Paranoia coming in way too late will allow Mystic to just swing, get the kill on Ava, and it's a 7-4 scoreline. Spartan's economy looking in absolute shambles. They will have to throw everything they have and purchase bits and bobs. They don't have an ultimate other than the Omen one. They do not have 5 rifles, and they can't get another operator.
Yeah, in CCP, they just have the one ultimate. They are 2 orbs away from that raised showstopper, but unless there's a life round here where there's 2 kills or maybe a kill and an orb gathered, I don't quite expect it to be seen this last round in the half. As there's just a stack of players over towards Showers. They shot the decoy, the first falls, the second falls, but it gets traded by Kage, and now it's all up to Mr. Dodgy. Players are trying to come as quick as they can, but the satchels won't save him. That's Aura getting another kill. 2 rifles now being able to be picked up, and those are 2 pivotal upgrades as the final 3 players were BK is rotating now all the way through CT. And the spike is now only just coming down as there's a player over toward Heaven, not spotted for.
I guess still able to get a kill on site, will be low HP, but now the trades are going back and forth, and it's down to a 1 versus 1. Fake updraft, nice landing, no sound to being made, but it doesn't matter if I hear you or I don't, as Scythe will put the curse on you and take them out. And what started as a great attempt from the Spartans on the back of a, well, true to their name, dodgy play from Mr. Dodgy, in the end does not matter. 1 player alive in the last round. The round's going in your favor, and the CCP Lighthouse has come back into this stronger than they could have.
Yeah, but Waxen, like you briefly mentioned during one of the post rounds, this map is a defender-sided map. And they had a Cypher on their defense. So my question is, are we expecting to potentially see Spartans do similar or potentially pull this back on their defense? Will their firepower be able to stop CCP? I don't quite think it will for this round, as they have the 3-player stack over toward A, potentially even a 4-player stack. I don't think so. I think that's just going to be, yep, that TP thrown from the Yori, while all of CCP are just coming over toward this B site.
Nice attempt to TP away. You don't want to take any more duels versus a Trailblazer. You don't want to waste your bullets on it, as we have Crunch on site. Can they crunch up and get a few kills right now? And you're gonna swing, but no! Shooting their bodies is not gonna help. The body shot player was in the previous game. Kage in the smoke. They want to swing. The goal is low HP. They'll spot one, but they're not getting the low kill. They're getting the onto Mystic, and it's down to 3 versus 4. Aura. Will swing towards elbow, but Camfries gets isolated versus Frenzies, and the Frenzies keep on going, but Aura says no. I still have bullets in my ghost, and I'm gonna turn you into one. And Slice, though, just trades it. Ava, with a late Paranoia, won't be able to do much more. And again, the Cambridge Inferno is playing this perfectly, using utility to clear the corners, push back the chamber, flash him in, get on side, and then boom, click, click, heads, and we've got the player advantage. It feels like every single, well, not every, most rounds this match have gone in the favor of the Cambridge Inferno only due to an early player advantage.
Yeah. Almost certainly, Waxen. Cambridge Inferno are just being able to convert those player advantages into round wins. We saw it on their defense. We saw it on that 1 attack round just now, as they're going for a speedy hit once more, throwing that stim beacon over toward long, just being able to sprint all the way down it. And once more, another site hit is coming through. Trailblazer gets used, unfortunately gets shot at, but that doesn't matter because the players are just funneling out onto site through that smoke. Dead Hand gets reversed onto Aura, and Sith gets another one to Crunch. The site is now in favor of Cambridge Inferno. Kage unfortunately dies in Hookah to Dead Hand, and it's all up to Camfries and Ava here over toward
Last
this
player
elbow
standing.
position over the classic as that's Camfry's dead. Right click does get the kill onto Mr. Doggy. My right click definitely does not do that. Attempts to try and go for the pickup and the upgrade, but that doesn't happen as Cambridge Inferno just spam through the smoke with their Spectres and get the kill, getting that 10th round on the board for them.
And 4. 10-4. This is gonna be the first round that the Spartans need to show us they've got the muscles that they need in order to stop the aggression. Yes, it's gonna be versus SMGs, but you need to generate some confidence. We need Kage to pop off to get a few kills. We need Aura, and more importantly, even the Jet to pair up. Try swinging outside. That's not the confidence I was asking for.
Yeah, but Mr. Doggy managing to get another one with the Judge there, just trading it back, and that's a little bit of a misplace of a smoke, I think, because it doesn't block off either entrance or exit entirely. But I think it's because they want to be able to potentially use it as a threat for a luck. Speaking of lucks, Mystic is just all the way through, not spotted by Camfries on short, and manages to get the kill at such a range with a Spectre. He's calling for his team that A might be the site to hit, and the TP comes through. Heracon gets one onto Ava. Orb is being picked up, and Spike will go down relatively shortly with next to no way of immediate contention from the side of Leamington Spartans here. A close hold on this trip from Mystic. And this is going to be the door that determines it. Kage trying to go for a little bit of a jump spot, spots the trip and ends up breaking it. But are they going for a save, Waxen?
They must do. And that was a great play from Kage, just jumping in, spotting the trip, breaking it. You don't want to take a wild swing into that because you might be held there. You might not because it's a tripwire, but they were in a great position as we have Crunch and Kage in the defender's base, not even knowing where to expect the attackers to come for them, as Mystic will swing, and let's have a Phantom, we get a headshot, doesn't go down, and now Crunch with 10 HP, just running away. Can Crunch get away? Will flash himself out. He spotted him. Another flash coming in, flashes from both sides. It's a 1 versus 4, it's a duck hunt game, and Crunch will stay alive for the time being.
Yeah, only managing to save one rifle through. This might be the economic damage that will lead them to potentially, if they can't buy here, just not being able to buy until the final round of the half, and then they have their backs against the wall, 12-4 potentially, and by that point you can't make any mistakes. But this team that we've been seeing, Waxen, from the Spartans, they haven't been playing nearly as effectively as their record has been showing, and so these mistakes have been causing them the major losses of their rounds, as once more the Inferno are just playing over toward this B site. They're just going for this default of this heavy B long and then throwing Util out onto site, forcing rotates potentially, but no one is moving from the side of Spartans.
My cam will get broken instantly, but Mystic says, you break my cam, I break your head, and Crunch is taken off the server. Neurotheft gets invested and will spot all the opponents. The Kage has to run away alone in a 1 versus 5 on site with only 7 bullets in the Headhunter. Can't do anything other than look at the opponents, plant the spike, or gonna throw in a lot of utility to slow them down. There are some smokes, some cages, and a tripwire. The defenders need to play together, but it doesn't matter as Ava just swings base. Mystic will get the kills with the smoke. It's a 2 versus 4. Still a Vandal for the breach.
One enemy remaining.
As Camfries will get one, traded by Scythe. Can Aura pull Miracle off as Mystic is literally staring at them through the smoke? Time is ticking. 3, 2, 1. Headshot, double headshot! And Aura still has another flash. Stun in 3 seconds. Will flash backside. That's the correct stun. The plant is for long. Aura do something. They spot another opponent. They know that one is coming city, but no, they know where the opponents are. Classic hand, jumping in. Death hand says, I might have a dead hand, but you are old dead, so you can't do anything. 12-4, 8 match points.
Yeah, they are, like you said, they're facing 8 match points, the Spartans, if they want to potentially bring it back into overtime. But if they manage to do such a feat, Waxen, they have to have no mistakes. They need all the economy they can get, as just being able to scrape together a really rough buy here. A rifle half shield, a guardian half shield, and a judge with a shorty here. Immediate ult being used over toward Lamps, and those are 2 picks immediately for favor of Cambridge Inferno. The round might just already be over. It's 1 player left. And Mr. Dodgy is already in spawn. Is Aura aware of this? Potentially, the Roombird comes through, and that will be Dodgy getting the final kill. 13-4 win for the Cambridge Inferno.
And the Spartans can't survive the fire from the Inferno Cambridge team. 13-4, Daniel. And that last round, the nail in the coffin. What a strong execution. Nice orbital strike, not the default one. Ava believed they might be able to use the shadow step to go away, but no, the orbital strike was just slightly further back to catch the Omen off guard. Excellent execution, and 13-4 in this nationals game for the student champs. I'm impressed with the Cambridge Inferno. I've had the pleasure of casting them previously in a few seasons ago, but now they look like a completely different beast.
Yeah, their prowess has definitely evolved. Having seen myself coming through the champs, what they were capable of doing in the variety of different titles, being able to see them now from this perspective, having their ability to just punish players, being able to get the immediate pick and just win the round because of it. Their opponent of the Spartans, yeah, they had relatively decent plays in their playbooks, but it wasn't enough for them to succumb to or overcome, the Inferno, and so because of that, they ended up just being a pushover in a way.
Yeah, but obviously the Spartans have had a few great things that they displayed, and I think with a bit more practice, they are going to look even much better. I don't know if Bind was necessarily something they felt the most comfortable with, because at points it felt like their understanding of the map wasn't as good as their opponents. So maybe if we would see a best of 3 between those two teams, the result might be different. It might not. We'd never be able to tell, at least not at this current stage of the Nationals, but MVP for the series, Daniel. Who was the shining star for our winners?
For our winners, I would probably have to say just being able to see 2 Yorus. As much as we would rather have a one particular player, being able to have a Yoru on both sides, seeing the chaos that happened and being able to see the 2 different playstyles of each Yoru, how both teams had used it differently, and how one allowed for it to be able to come and win with it, whereas the other potentially needs a little bit more work for them to come together as a cohesive team.
Yeah, and I gotta go for the Cypher. I think Mystic had a phenomenal impact. We saw why the Cypher is such a strong agent right now, and multiple times throughout that map. And yes, the Chamber on the opposite side really felt like they had the chance of picking anything up. We saw a Tour de Force once in the last round when the rest of the team didn't have the credits. So I still think there's room to see Chamber on Bind, but the Cypher is such a strong agent right now, and Mystic, with getting their hands on the Cypher, did wonders with the agent. So for me, it has to be Mystic. But thank you, Daniel. That will be the end of our National Valorant stream for this week. But before we go, I gotta ask if you have any final shout-outs or words you'd like to say to the stream.
I just want to thank the production team that we've worked with today, Wax, and they've done an excellent job with such the small resources that we've had, and the players as well. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to have this experience. We wouldn't be able to have the champs to begin with.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Daniel. A pleasure to be casting alongside you all the time. And a huge shout out, like you said, to Brad, and obviously our phenomenal observer that was today, Miki. So if you want, you can go follow all of them on their socials. Go follow Daniel. It was a pleasure to be here today. I was Waxen, and this is the end of the Valorant for Student Champs for this week. But we will be back next week at 4 p.m. on Wednesday with more Student Champs action.